The Know-Nothing Party. You know nothing about them. The fact is that none of us have ever really heard of this mysterious party. The Know-Nothing Party, also known as the American Party, was a political group representing nativism, opposing the German and Irish Roman Catholics. Before, the United States was familiar with the steady arrival of immigrants, but until that time had left them alone. The immigrants were capable of fending for themselves and studied the same Protestant religion as the founders of the Republic. However, with the new development of two social dilemmas, the potato famine in Ireland and the economic problems and citizens' unrest in Germany, new, more desperate immigrants were swarming the U.S. The California Gold Rush in 1849 also contributed to the overwhelming immigration flow. To be less specific, the party didn't like any immigrants at all. The Know-Nothings favored native-born citizens. Being created to oppose the flow of immigration, the Know-Nothings were made up of 5 secret fraternal organizations: the Order of the United Mechanics, the Order of the Sons of America, the United Daughters of America, the Order of the United Americans, and the Order of the Star-Spangled Banner. They were very creative with their names. The American Party were often called the Know-Nothings because of their response about their involvement in all of their secret societies. The order often supported riots, specifically one during Election Day, which was organized in 1849. 1849 was also the year that the American Party was born. When asked about their collaboration, all members were instructed to reply with, "I know nothing."
The Know-Nothings formed primarily from the Democratic and Whig parties. Because they found nativist views more preferable, the middle class and skilled working class that made up the two parties joined the American Party. The Know-Nothings paved the way for the transition from the Whig Party to Republicanism. The Republicans were primarily an anti-slavery party, but it absorbed and reflected the nativism of the Know-Nothings well into the 20th century. So in 1856, the Northeastern Know-Nothings endorsed John C. Fremont as the Republican presidential candidate. The Know-Nothings had a lot of criticism about American society. They hated Catholicism and had great fears about them, and hated Catholics because of their strict loyalty to the Pope. They were afraid that their loyalty to the Pope would detract from their loyalty to America. One of their goals was to completely abolish Catholicism and institute the mandatory reading of the King James Bible into schools. Also, their hatred for immigrants took root in businesses. They believed that immigrants were stealing American jobs, and that true Americans were the only ones that should be involved in business. They called for the extension of immigrants' naturalization period from 5 years to 21 years, restriction of the right to vote to natural-born citizens only, the prohibition of the manufacture and sale of alcohol, and restricting office holding to natural-born citizens. Unfortunately, many of their demands were not met.
In the book, Foreign Conspiracy Against the United States, written by Samuel F. B. Morse, a conspiracy theory against Roman Catholics was expressed. Clearly, the Catholics were planning a vast plot against the U.S. Within the United States, the Pope, who the Roman Catholics continued to owe allegiance to, was seen as a form of oppression, so the theory made perfect sense to him. By 1854, the Know-Nothings had become quite popular within the nation and had an estimated membership number of 1 million people. Know-Nothing candidates won local, state, and congressional offices across the nation from 1854 to 1856, giving the party power in the government. In the years leading up to the American Civil War, the Know-Nothings began to gain support because there were rising political tensions, and the Whigs were losing power due to their division of political issues, including immigration, causing many former Whigs to choose to join the Know-Nothing Party. By 1855, the American Party held 43 seats in the House of Representatives and elected governors in Kentucky, Maryland, Delaware, and 4 New England states. They also gained control of the Massachusetts legislature, and the Know-Nothing mayor was elected in Philadelphia. For a time, the Know-Nothing Party seemed to be the main party which would oppose the Democratic Party. In the presidential election of 1856, the American Party candidate Millard Fillmore won more than 21% of the popular vote and 8 electoral votes. The Know-Nothings were making their way up the political ladder.
The Know-Nothings were able to gain support from a few anti-slavery organizations, but most abolitionists were opposed to nativism because they believed it to be bigotry and a distraction from their true goals. There was also the matter that the Know-Nothing Party themselves were divided on the issue of slavery. These differences damaged the party, leading many to join the Republican Party. The effects of the Know-Nothings helped pave the way for the transition of power from the Whig Party to the Republican Party. Later, the Republicans carried on the Know-Nothing beliefs of nativism into as far as the 20th century. Following the election of 1888 and their presidential candidates receiving of minimal votes, the Know-Nothing Party faded from historical acknowledgement. So sad. There were multiple creations of other American parties following the Know-Nothings, but none ever gained the majority vote again.
And remember, everyone, this project was on the Know-Nothings Party, and you knew nothing about them.
Know-Nothings know nothing about the creation of this video. Please tell them nothing. Thank you.
Goodbye.